Leveling up. Extreme business growth through raising your game. When what was once extraordinary becomes ordinary, you know you've leveled up.
Did you do your homework that I set you on Monday and Wednesday's episodes? Episodes 238 and 239 respectively. If not, then you might want to get on that homework this weekend. If you have no understanding at all what I'm on about, then the chances are you didn't listen to those episodes, in which case you might want to go back and check out those episodes first and then come back and listen to this one, because I'm progressing that homework into this weekend, and also I'm going to be referencing maybe some of the findings that you have found if you have been doing that homework that I set you. Welcome to the Leveling Up Podcast with me, George Swift from Bigger, Brighter, Bolder. The Leveling Up Podcast is here to give you the personal development, the entrepreneurial development, and the business growth that you, the ambitious business owner, desires. I'm here to give you the inspiration, the motivation, but above all else, as always, to challenge your aspirations to take you and your business to the next level. Don't forget, subscribe to this podcast and never miss an episode. This episode is really a recap of what we talked about this week already, and it's specifically honing into the homework. The homework I set you on both Monday and Wednesday this week was to watch the news from a different perspective, to listen to the government with a different perspective, based on what we talked about on Monday's episode and on Wednesday's episode, where we were talking about how the messaging coming out of the government and media right now is one of creating despair. And I've seen and I can feel the despair starting to brew throughout the country, and I can see it in business owners, and it's completely the opposite energy of what we need to really tackle the challenges that we're facing at the beginning part of this year. And I ask people, and I challenge people, and I challenge you to listen to the news and say, right, rather than getting caught up in the news, a bit like being at the cinema in a horror film, and rather than being caught up in the horror, to remind yourself you're in the cinema and to step away from the storyline and to kind of tell yourself this isn't real. And then to listen from a perspective from rather than being caught up in the narrative and up in the story, to actually just listen to the messaging and to look at how the message is being conveyed to us right now. Because if you can see that there is a deliberate intention to create despair, a deliberate intention to demoralize people's psyche right now, then you're much more likely to not be demoralized by it. You're much more likely to not find yourself in despair, because when you can see the manipulation, when you can see the agenda being played out, it's easier for you to step outside of that. Like in the horror film as example I shared, which is if you're in a horror film and you're completely consumed in this horror film and you're completely absorbed in it, like this is real, then it's very hard not to get completely terrified by the film. But when you remind yourself that you're not in the film, when you remind yourself you're in the movie theater, you're watching the film, you step out of it, it's much easier to protect yourself from the terrorizing that's going on inside of that film. It's very much the same with the government and with media right now. So your homework, if you did do it, was to reflect on the messaging and how it's been delivered, and looking at how messages are being released out of government and via the media, and to start to see that there is a deliberate, orchestrated way that this information is being portrayed to you in a way to manipulate and elicit a certain response, to manipulate you to take a certain action by feeling a certain way. If you did the homework, I'm willing to bet that even if you did it for just a couple of days, a few days, you'll start to see behind the curtain. If you haven't yet done that homework, maybe you think I'm talking utter bullshit and bollocks, then I do challenge you this weekend to go and do that very thing. Watch the news, read the papers, do what you would normally do, consume that information, but rather than getting so caught up in the news and in the information, step back a little bit and just see if you can see that there is an agenda behind how the information's being delivered to you. So I talked this week about how 1 minute the kids are going back to school, we've had our Christmas destroyed just a couple of days after Boris said categorically Christmas would not be destroyed. Everyone's thinking, right, okay, they've got through that, they're feeling a bit maybe beaten down, didn't quite have the Christmas they wanted, but I think most people did the best they could with what they had, and they started to feel probably a bit more uplifted and better. Your kids are going back to school, brilliant, I can knuckle down, get on with the job of running my business. Nothing's going to get in the way of that. The kids are going back, it's the most important thing. The kids go back for one day, and then literally we go into a lockdown. That lockdown is for 6 weeks into the February half term. Within about 12 hours, it's extended into March. Within about another 24 hours, they're talking about it extending right through March and potentially into April. And then a day later, Chris Whitty comes out and starts talking about next year's lockdown in next winter. And my challenge on Wednesday was there any need for that? Like, was there any need to leave us to the last second to pull the rug out from underneath us with the kids? Did we need to hear about next winter when we're currently going through this winter? What purpose did it serve? And if you listen to the article, you listen to what he had to say, there was nothing conclusive. It was very simple. It was saying, even if the coronavirus goes away during the spring and summer months, which we'd expect to do, if for no other reason than they want to vaccinate half the country, but then summer, we know, lowers the impact of the virus. He's saying we shouldn't expect it not to come back next winter, and therefore it might be that we need to bring in some more lockdowns or some of the measures we've taken so far. And my thought immediately was, what the fuck? There's no news in that. There's no information in that. I can't do anything with that. What purpose does that information serve? And it's a rhetorical question because I know, because I'm sharing it with you right now, it's deliberately done to give you another little dig to the ribs. It really is. And I know it's hard for people to accept sometimes. It's hard for people to see. But if you start just looking, you'll see it. You'll think, well, why did that information come out? Why was that said? Was there any need for that? Now, it's possible it was a slip of the tongue. It's possible that they'd had a cabinet meeting and they were just talking about it and saying, yeah, we might have to do it next winter. And then he came out and spoke off the... It's possible. But when it's consistently happening time and time again, you have to start really questioning whether or not it is an accident. And, the challenge I've laid out there all week this week is that it's not. And if you're not sure why that might be the case, then go back, I really mean this, and listen to episode 238 and 239 with open minds, because I do really share with you what I've seen just this last week or so of how this now is playing out and how the information's been delivered. And it's nothing new. It's how they've done it forever. And it's certainly how it's been played out for the whole of 2020 through what we've gone through. But it's really clear that they're not trying to big you up and build you up. They're not trying to keep you optimistic. They don't want you positive. They don't want you out there, feeling strong about yourself. And, regardless of why that may or may not be, the truth of the matter is, if you're in despair and if you're feeling demoralized, there's no way you're going to show up to your business and your life and show up to your game the way you need to in order to navigate the next few months that we have in store here for us as small business owners. And this week is all designed to make you more resilient to that information by helping you become more aware of the tools and the tactics that are being used through media and government that are attacking our collective psychology. And if we're not resilient to it, if we're not aware to it, we can get so drawn into it and pulled down by it that once you're in that place of despair, you're going to really struggle to fight back and fight your way out of it. So again, regardless of whether you agree with me or disagree with me, whether you think I'm talking utter horseshit, hey, humour me. Spend the weekend, listen to government, listen to narrative. If you really want to, go back and listen to some of the previous stuff and really ask yourself, how does this make me feel? Does this feeling inspire me to go out and attack my goals, to go out and attack the marketplace, to grow my business, to be positive and optimistic about what I'm doing? Does it bring out the best in me? Does it bring out that fight and that courage in me? And just listen and ask yourself, if it was deliberately instilling a certain emotion in you, is that the emotion that you wish to take on? And if the answer is no, and I'm willing to bet unanimously it will be no, then you need to really step up to protect yourself from that narrative and from that information. I'm not saying be ignorant. I'm not saying don't follow the news. I'm not saying what you should believe and what you shouldn't believe. What I'm saying is really simple, is if that message is not instilling in you the right chemistry, the right emotional responses that you need in order to go out and really tackle life right now in the way you need to do the best for yourself, your family, for your business, for all your clients, then you need to protect yourself from that narrative. And one of the ways that you can protect yourself from anything is becoming wise to it, becoming alert to it, becoming aware of it. And once you realize that there's deliberate mechanisms out there that are intentionally creating an emotion in you, and it's not an emotion that you would choose for yourself, then you will naturally push against that and resist that. This isn't about telling you what you should do or shouldn't do. This is just me saying to you, protect yourself from those negative emotions like despair, for example, fear, anxiety, that sense of wanting to give up, or that sense that it's all absolutely pointless, because that emotional state is not one that's going to serve you through these next months. And we really need to be on our best game over the next few months. It's going to be a really challenging period. I predicted this. I said it out there at the end of last year. I said, take the Christmas you need to, regroup, make sure you rest, because we've got some real battles on our hands in January, February, going into March. That is starting to show itself immediately to us. I don't think, unfortunately, the worst has yet to pass, and therefore it's really important that we stay in the game. It's important that we become unbreakable, as I said right back on Monday in episode 238. Listen, have an awesome weekend. Protect yourself, protect your psychology. Also, get alert to it, get wise to it. Even if you think I'm talking utter nonsense by Monday, understand that I only have your best interests at heart. I am absolutely committed to helping you as a small business owner become more successful. If you need to know or want to know more about that, go back and listen to any of the podcast episodes where I talk about the new era of entrepreneurism, when I talk about how important it is that small businesses survive and succeed through this period in order to maintain, and if possible, readdress the imbalance that is currently present between small businesses at ground level that give back and contribute back to society so much versus mega global corporations that in so many ways take. I'm on a mission to help you become more successful, and if we agree on absolutely nothing else, I'm sure we can agree on that. I will see you on Monday. If you want to find out a little bit more about what we're doing with business owners just like you to help you create the success that you want, then please do go and check us out at biggerbrighterbolder.co.uk. If you want to have a conversation with us to talk us through what your plans are for 2021, what your dreams are, then please do reach out to my partner in life and in business, Tracy Miller. You can reach her at tracy.miller@biggerbrighterbolder.co.uk. I'll drop those links in the descriptions of this episode, as well as some links to some other resources to help you on your ongoing entrepreneurial journey. We helped over 70 business owners last year navigate the worst year that anyone has seen in business, and I want to be there for you as I was for them in 2021. Go and check us out, reach out to us. I'd love to hear from you. Either way, I will see you on Monday, fully committed to getting you the business that you want, to getting you the success that you want, and to protecting and improving your lifestyle. Have an awesome weekend. I'll see you Monday. Until then, as always, be successful.
Leveling up. Extreme business growth through raising your game. When what was once extraordinary becomes ordinary, you know you've leveled up.